dang. All right. Well, I got
God
better,
forbid.
All right. Well, I got better news, and by that I mean no, I do not. I got to check out Assassin's Creed.
Here we go.
Assassin's Creed, the 2016 film release starring Michael Fassbender. I got a couple more names too, starring Marion Cotillard, starring Jeremy Irons. These are phenomenal
Poor
actors'
Jeremy
names.
Irons.
Michael K. Williams,
Okay.
from The Wire.
Yeah.
Adam's favorite show. Brendan Gleeson, Charlotte Rampling, which is kind of a newer name. But basically, what I'm getting at is these are actors with names, actors with prowess, with clout, with talent. Okay, people that bring good performances all the time. Okay, not all the time.
So very overqualified
They
cast, basically, to be in
Yeah.
this garbage.
Yeah,
All right.
this is just like, you get Oscar caliber people doing trauma level work here. Okay, I don't want to tip my hand too much, but all right. Okay, the breakdown is through a revolutionary technology that unlocks his genetic memories, Callum Lynch, called Cal in the movie, experiences the adventures of his ancestor Aguilar in 15th century Spain. Callum discovers he is descended from a mysterious secret society, the Assassins, and amasses incredible knowledge and skills to take on the oppressive operatives of the powerful Templar organization in the present day. Now, that seems a little convoluted. It seems like it should be straightforward, but the actual logistics of it are kind of confused.
Yeah.
If you've ever played the Assassin's Creed game, you are 10 times more confused because you went into detail. That right there is the best they could give you to say, we just needed a really shoddy premise to get some dude in Spanish gear doing kung fu.
Yeah.
Of all the premises, they ripped the premise from the actual game, which is the worst part about
From the
it.
First game, mind you.
It's in all of them.
They took variations in all of them. This right? Okay, let me just get into it real quick. To anyone who's unfamiliar with the Assassin's Creed game series, the movie is pretty much about they have this guy. He's an ex-con, been in trouble all his life. This company gives him an opportunity to basically get a new life. They'll bequeath him money and a new identity, and let's give him a fresh start if he completes this program for them, in which they'll put him in a machine and he'll have some dreams that they'll record. As far as he knows, that's it. As far as we know, if you're unfamiliar with the game series, that's it. And in itself, that sounds like some kind of maybe fun Matrix stuff, or with that Bruce Willis surrogates.
Yep.
Where we put a person in the computer, and in their dream world, they're incredible. The movie itself, now as you mentioned, takes from the game story, but there's a few different variations in the different Assassin's Creed games. There's the first one, notorious for being extremely boring, having all the promise in the world and not delivering, where you get this really convoluted backstory about a guy who's kind of working for this company, but he's kind of been kidnapped by this company, and he's in this machine, but you have to remain in sync, which in itself is a problem with the storytelling. And it seems to me that the actual writers of this game played the first game, of this movie, played the first game, and then pretty much tried to transcribe their own version for the script of the movie.
Now, Johnny, you said they took pieces from all other games?
Well, all right. So the worst part about Assassin's Creed is its continuous story, where it tries to ham in this like awful thing where it takes place in modern day, and this guy is on this. I forgot the name of the machine.
The Animus.
The Animus. He's in the Animus, and
pronounced the Animus
then he's
by Marion Cotillard every time. It's like they're gonna get, it's like prepare him for the enema. Like what?
Through the machine, he's revisiting these set pieces in time, whether it's Rome or Egypt, or
ancient, the Middle Eastern.
When did this take place?
Iran. Or like the United States during Revolutionary times.
Yeah, different games cross to different locations.
Historical events.
Like Assassin's Creed 3 took place here in North America. The movie was in Spain.
So Spanish Inquisition?
Around that time, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I may be misremembering. I don't recall any of the games taking place in Spain.
None of them have. They're sort of bounced around all different regions. But I mean, like, the worst part is that it has that Animus thing when they could just throw that garbage out and just stick with here's assassins at this period in time, and then just the next game it's the same group, the same
team.
Well,
Team, the same
what
creed
you're
of
describing there
assassins.
is logic and not the
Yeah.
lobotomy that was this movie.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
that's
now
it.
staying on the
Yeah.
concept of the movie itself, not to harp too much on the
Convoluted.
games. That was just for reference because what they do in the movie is spend a lot of time with Cal, basically our Desmond allegory.
Yeah.
His story in Abstergo. We see so little of the actual assassin history, the past, the cool stuff, the fight scenes, the parkour, the training, the beautiful visuals, all this stuff that should have been included in the movie and is shown heavily in the trailers. The trailers seem to have an even balance, and it looks kind of like the story stuff there is just for setup, so you know what's happening when you go to the rest of the movie, the real movie, which will be all that cool Spanish Inquisition stuff. Him fighting like it was the Sultan, he said. So
Okay.
it was a Sultan in Spain, I guess a visiting dignitary. I didn't write the suck. Okay, don't give me that look. But this movie gives it's an over 2 hour movie. You get maybe 20-25 minutes of actual like cool Spanish fighting stuff.
Eagle
Of
flying.
cool, yeah. And I will say, first of all, I don't recommend this movie. I'm just gonna put it out there right now. I don't recommend this. If you're a fan, stay away. If you're not, your money will be spent elsewhere. I think Moana might still be playing in theaters.
Oh man.
Seriously, it's just so bad. See Rogue One again. I'm just so
Yeah.
let down and disappointed because not only was it, first of all, it's a beautifully shot movie. It looked incredible what parts you could actually see. And I do like the different take they did on the Animus because in the
Animus?
games, the Animus is a thing that you sit in the Animus, because the Animus are a thing that you sit on.
What?
In the games, the Animus is a machine you sit in. It's kind of like the Matrix
It
chair.
gives you an
You
Animus.
just sit there and then they turn it on.
Like a Judas chair.
Well, I don't know. All right.
That's
See, there you go.
an animus is a good name for a Judas chair.
Thank you for
Yeah.
that.
For the guy.
In the
I'll show you
movie,
later.
The guy wearing the helmet
in the
and he
movie,
has
they
the
do
Judas shit.
something that it's clever in theory and it looks okay once you get what it's actually doing. But it takes so long to figure that out that you stop caring by the time you're like, yeah, okay, now I get it. Had I known that 45
All right,
minutes
so-
ago, it would have been cool.
So question.
It's just this big
how,
arm. That
how
you see.
soon? What time was it like an hour in, half hour in, you were done?
I think I almost fell asleep the first time about 23 to 25 minutes in.
Wow, that's sad.
Yeah, that's the biggest sin of this movie. It has all this
It's a
cool
bad
stuff.
hit.
It has legitimately awesome material to work with, and beautiful visuals. The actors, you can tell, did all this, did Matrix level choreography, where they probably went to camps and learned techniques and stuff. And then you see so little of it. The greatest sin this movie commits is it is boring. It is extremely boring, and I thought maybe I'm just too attached to the game series, hence why I'm not having fun watching this movie. But I was vindicated when, as hard as I'm struggling not to A, leave the freaking theater because I was insulted, but B, fall asleep through just so much of this dragging, pointless storyline that keeps going back over itself. And then I heard... not from one, not from two, but from 3 different spots in the theater, and I'm like, yes, it's not just me.
Justification.
Oh, it hurts so bad.
In the worst way, yeah.
Yeah, and
That's bad.
I think it is your love for the game that kind of.
No,
That
you
kept
know
me
what?
awake.
You know what's
No.
boring and what's not. You know what I mean? You don't need to have
I wanted
backstory
to
on
leave.
that.
I never leave movies.
Your
and I honestly
expectations.
wanted to leave this.
Oh.
Well, my expectations were you have a movie with Michael Fassbender.
Yep.
A good actor who
Great
gives
actor.
good
Marion
performances.
Cotillard and the
Marion
man.
Cotillard, she is a solid. I love her, most of her work.
Jeremy Irons,
She
who
pissed
always
me off
gets
in
ragged for doing those type of roles, like medieval circa period roles or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
always
he's
gets
also an
ragged, but he's
Oscar winner
great.
too.
Yeah, but he's great.
There's a reason he always gets cast for him too.
Yeah.
You know,
He's
Yeah.
great. He does his
Statham, however,
job.
has no business any
I-
of those. I just want to point that out.
He was the bad
I think
guy
it's
from-
the actual material, though. The material itself that
Well,
isn't.
here's-
There isn't anything there for them to draw from because the story in Assassin's Creed is absolute garbage in all the games.
Yeah, but there's
Well,
action
almost
to be
all the
shot
games.
in
The
that.
action's
Wait, hold
great.
on, hold on. You didn't like
Yeah.
the trilogy, dude?
No, they're all garbage.
Whoa.
Okay,
man.
those
they are.
was pretty
those,
good.
I think it's a pick your favorite thing. Everyone really likes Ezio Auditore. Just running back, Ezio Auditore was the star of the second game, Assassin's Creed 2, which was a game that was actively released, having corrected a lot of the mistakes that Assassin's Creed 1 was criticized for.
Yeah.
A lot of the mistakes Assassin's Creed 1 was criticized for are in this movie.
Yeah.
The drawn-out storyline, the really convoluted storyline that they spend far too much time on and far too little time on actually exploring the assassin half of this.
So I have a question for you.
Yes.
Real quick. Do they include the pieces of eating in this movie? Do they make mention?
No, there is one, and only one. They don't call it a piece of Eden. A piece of Eden. They call it an apple. And that is a bit of a spoiler, only because they don't say it in the trailers. But there has to be some reason he's there. He's there to find the apple.
Well, that's the thing. It's like you said, the stories are weird, and I agree. Not all of them were perfect. I enjoyed the trilogy a lot, but even then it had its flaws. But the pieces of Eden what kept me playing the game. Like I was literally scouring the game just to get to that puzzle.
In this movie, it's a MacGuffin. It's this one magical item that can do anything, and it really is.
That's what got me to quit the game.
Oh wow!
The one thing that's positive about that is, at the very least, this movie does not have the same hubris that the games did.
Okay.
This movie does not try to force a we're gonna do a part 2. It's gonna be a trilogy. Wait till you see the next one.
And that's what I was gonna ask you too. Like, are they attempting a trilogy here?
No, they did the smart thing, which I don't even attribute to the script. I attribute this to the filmmaking itself. Just being someone who knows what they're doing. Yeah. They left it on the tip of, if you're interested in the story, there might be more, but in one of those
spend the money.
It's like if you're watching a sitcom or one of those corny movies where they end the movie like, oh, here we go again, credits, But
like that, or like
say that.
Like Matrix, because Matrix closed it off, but they left enough for there to be 2 more movies.
I think a little of both, because you get the Marion Cotillard portion of the ending, which is totally that. There might be a part 2, or left it here, and you want it.
If you like it, we will.
And the Fassbender is the you know what? I've been through this stuff. I'm Diesel now. I've got my crew, and we're vigilant. So just be aware. And it's like both sides of that, which again, to the filmmaking, not the script. The script itself is the biggest enemy of this movie. I will say, Fassbender, not his strongest performance. His accent, he's using his American accent, which is kind of off-putting. Yeah. But at the very least, it's one of those situations where he probably did the best with what he was given with the script. Yeah. I would have liked to have seen somebody like Sam Worthington take it up, so it would be the final nail in the coffin.
I was gonna say, you pulled yourself out of that one pretty well. Anti-charisma movie swallows itself.
I'm just really insulted. I will say that at the very least, as bad as it was and as upset as I was at the storyline, they did go out of their way to at least incorporate a lot of the beloved aspects of the game that you hope would be in there. The few bits of action you did see in Spain had the parkour between buildings. They did logically work in the leaps of faith, which in the game are purely a game mechanic to open up the map. There's no reason to have it in the movie. They added legitimate reasons to have it in the movie. And anytime one of these came up, I thought, okay, you know what? It had a really shoddy lead up to this point, but from here on, it's gonna be ill. And then it was cool for like 4 minutes, and then you see the decline, and then back to the boredom.
You hear the noise.
And I will say at the very least, if you're a big fan of the source material, this movie did appreciate and respect a good amount of the source material. You have the climbing, you have the fighting, you have the assassin tools. Not all of them, a couple, just to give you a taste. And I think that they did the mandatory minimal amount, but they did that minimal amount. A lot of game movies don't do that. Yeah. You have the arm, the blade, but you don't. But there was no talk of removing finger for that, things like that.
All right.
At the end of the day, as a fan of the Assassin's Creed movie, I would highly recommend not going to see this. Expunge it from your mind. If you saw those trailers more than once, forget them. And don't hold it against Michael Fassbender.
Don't
hold it against the boy.
Basically, watch it and go get an enema.
Well, seriously, go get an enema from the enema. Which in the movie, this giant mechanical arm. When this dude walked in that room, and she said, "Okay, get him in the enema," and I'm like, "This thing? What are you?"
Is there a budgetary limit for someone? Like, if you're gonna spend this much, even though you are a fan, do not watch it.
Here's what sucks: this movie had all the money in the world. You could tell. And there was no exotic locations. Everything was CG'd. Everything was green.
Big budget.
They could have gone to Spain. They could have gone to Iran.
I'm talking about the fan, right? Someone who,
movies are expensive nowadays. There's no waste of time.
For a fan like me, I spend the $60 for the games. Price?
No, not even.
I spend the $60 for the game. So should I spend the $20 some odd dollars for the movie?
No, this is no bones about it. And I'm upset to say it's because of how good it did look. A bad movie. Wow. This is a bad movie. It is a boring movie. You should skip it.
I don't think it should surprise anybody either, though. You're saying that.
No,
so
I
don't be
mean,
surprised.
I've been surprised before. I
Yeah.
thought Deadpool would falter. I thought Mad Max would falter. I thought Furious 7 would be the movie that crushes the franchise.
Those are not video game movies.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true.
I think the only successful video game movie that through time that actually grew appreciation over time was like Mortal Kombat, the original.
Yeah,
one.
Mortal Kombat.
That was it.
Yeah, that movie was bomb though.
Yeah,
I like the movie a lot.
I would still watch that movie. It's awesome.
All right, so what we really need is Casper Van Dien in Assassin's Creed 2.
Yeah, don't
Electric
mess with
Boogaloo.
Casper Van Dien, dude. Don't badmouth him on this show. Don't do it.
Um,
Don't do it. Starship Troopers is one of my favorite things ever. You better lay off.
I
Such a
got like
good
a
movie.
60 side story about my New Year's. I'll tell you, involving Casper Van Dien.
Any Casper Van Dien story, I'm down with.
All right, cool. It's been the Geek Down here on WEMF Radio. I want to thank